Hello and welcome to My Voices Have Tourette's, and that's why you can call me Hugo. My name is Dan Zarin. Let's get started here. So today's episode is brought to you by Gamesless Studio, where we are recording, The Secret Cellar, Iceland's first and only comedy club, and Smouty's Volcano Sauces, the great best hot sauces I've ever had in my life. So today I am joined by two incredible friends of mine. One of them is my co-host, who's actually not in the studio with me. This is kind of a flip-flop situation we've got here, but he is joining me through Messenger because he's got the flu. Let's welcome Þórhallur Þórhallsson.
Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho.
How are you feeling?
I'm good now. I've been sick for a few days, and it turned out it was not COVID. It was not COVID. It was not a man flu. It was like maybe a boy flu.
A boy flu.
Which you should not. Boy flu is not the same as having a boy fever.
No. It was basically a flu, but it was just mild.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were terrified that you had COVID, so you stayed in your room for what was just a mild cough.
Yes, I thought I was dying, and that I would kill all of you that live with me here.
Intentionally or unintentionally?
Both.
Both. Okay, I got you. All right. Well, Þórhallur, welcome. It's good to see you up and at it, and I'm very glad to hear you don't have COVID. But joining us in the studio is a very good friend of mine. He is a filmmaker. He is an artist. Actually, he designed the artwork for a charity event that we did with My Voices Have Tourette's called Voices for Charity. Let's welcome Hugo.
Oh, thanks, Dan. Thank you for listing off my achievements in such a nice and concise manner.
I did. Well, it's the job of the host the job of the host. It's like Job of the Hutt, but job of the host.
Job of the host.
That should just be what it is. What's your job title? I'm Job of the host. I can't do a job of voice.
I can do the other guy. What's the other guy? Bib Fortuna?
Bib Fortuna?
Iwanawanga or whatever the hell.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, there's that guy. Oh.
How do you do that? That hurts.
But anyway, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, but fucking show offs, the both of you.
Well, I know it.
I have an extra uvula.
You have an extra uvula.
No.
You just turn it on and off.
Yeah.
That literally only sounds handy to do a Chewbacca, the extra uvula. I mean, in any other scenario, it sounds like a horrible handicap to have.
Just going into the doctor's office, just like, I'd like another uvula, please. Why? Just for a Chewbacca impression? Okay, you sure? Because it's not going to be very pleasant. I just really want to nail this impression.
Yeah. Also, what the hell? Like, what kind of hospital do you think this is? You just got a spare uvula laying around?
Yeah, they just got one in the back.
Yeah, you got your uvula, so you're free to go. Thank you.
It's actually just like a tape bit of string with a marble tied at the end.
Right. Yeah. They got it on discount.
That is if that's not a choking hazard, I don't know what the fuck is. But Jesus.
But by the way, real quick, Þórhallur, it is good to have you up and about. So Þórhallur did have a COVID scare.
Oh, he did.
And it was the craziest thing. So he didn't want to take public transport, right?
Nope. I didn't want to risk it.
Right. So he called a taxi, and none of the taxi drivers would take him because they didn't want him in their cab.
No, of course not. Why would they? So, they normally don't. But,
right.
Now he's COVID and just like, what? No way. No.
Yeah, he calls up, and it's just like, I need a ride to, hold on, before we get any further, who is this? It's Þórhallur. Yeah, we're not interested.
Oh yeah,
are you drunk?
You're the infamously smelly guy. Yeah, no. You're on the blacklist.
But you're the guy with two uvulas, right?
Yeah, that weirdo. We don't want him in the back of our car going.
Literally does the Chewbacca for hours at a time.
Yeah,
makes us drive him in circles so he can do it for longer.
But the thing is, I had talked to the people. They said, like, you can take a taxi. They are equipped to drive people that maybe have symptoms or something like that. I was like, okay. I was not, because taxis are pretty expensive here in Iceland. Like 1 minute ride is $20,000.
God!
The price goes up on every speed bump.
Yeah. And I called the taxi thing, and they said, no, we don't want to drive you. I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't know what to do. And I talked to the people. They were like, we don't know what to do. I was like, so just if you don't have a car and nobody to drive you, you're just gonna. You never get it tested. And they were like, yeah, basically. But I it ended up that they sent somebody over. I got like a home delivery.
You were telling me this earlier, and I couldn't believe you. I literally couldn't. Like, until I started, I started thinking, like, did they actually do that? Did they just send like just a guy to like just? They sent
a guy, and it looked like there was a zombie apocalypse. I mean, this guy had like a full on like it was like a medical jacket that he was wearing from like head to toe, or shoulder to toe.
Oh my God, hazmat suit,
Yeah, and then he had the face mask on, and he had the hairnet on.
Right.
And he had glasses, and I was just like is he checking for COVID or a zombie virus? What's going on here?
Well, they're all, I guess it's one thing to have the guy just show up to your place like that, like the fucking just like a demonic like lunch lady or something.
It was quite nice though.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, like, me and Dan, we live together, so. Dan like bust the guy in, and Dan was just like eating pizza, standing in the door, and the guy just came. He was like, he's in the room over there. Like the guy's like, why are you not? Like, what's going on here? Like,
well, I think the weirdest part was he walks in, he looks, and like I open the door. Alex is like behind me, and then you walk out from you're standing just in your room with the door open, and we're like Alex and I are pointing to you, like you're like the threat of the nation, and he looks at each of us just like. Which one am I supposed to test? Because none of us had masks on because we were just in our apartment, and he's normally just in the room with the door closed. So we're just standing. He's looking at all three of us, and I like for a second I thought he had that look of I should have brought more tests.
Just the picture that you guys are painting of your home life. It's quite a thing.
It's a very special living situation that we have going on.
And he came in and like I knew he was gonna put something in my nose, but they also put it in your throat.
And he was like, holy shit, this guy's got a second uvula.
He was like, stick it in between.
That's not supposed to be there.
Because I have apparently, I was like gagging. I just like he put it a little bit in, and I was like,
Have you had one taken before? Sorry, have you had it?
No.
Okay. Oh, so you were just fresh in.
Yeah, I was a virgin, and then he put the thing in the nose, and he really went in there, and I think he was like jogging some
brain matter.
Some suppressed memories from childhood. It all came back, and
It's like he shoves it up, and you're just like that time at band camp, and he's like, wait a minute, that's not supposed to happen, and then he twists it a little bit. It's just like first day at college.
Oh, yikes! Man, those hazing rituals were something else back then, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then he just like twists a little bit more, and he's just like, I should have been a therapist.
Yeah. But like every other test I've taken in my life, I failed. I didn't have it.
That's good. That's great.
Every test.
Every
single one you failed. Even the ones where you just have to give your name and you failed.
Yeah, that's too much for me.
That's not too much. Well,
I panic.
Well, again, Þórhallur, it's great to have you well. I'm glad you don't have COVID. But Hugo, you are the one that we're here to talk to.
Oh, right. Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. Am I supposed to have like a hang on, I'm looking around for.
Say something now. It's interesting and
funny. Jesus. I had a notes app here. The phone's dead.
Well,
shit.
first things to get to why you are at the cool kids table.
Yeah.
But
finally.
And actually, I wanted to start off by talking about this because you were originally diagnosed with Asperger syndrome.
I was,
and now it's
back when that was a thing.
Yeah, and now it's known as the autism spectrum.
Yeah, now it's now people just go like, everybody's made the Asperger joke. Everybody's been really funny, and I've simultaneously said that no, they're not, and they can all go to hell. But now it's just the spectrum, and we're all very happy about that.
So what are the characteristics that I mean, before it was part of the autism spectrum? What were the characteristics of Asperger that made that separate?
Well, that is indeed the long tale to tell. Well, not really, but I was given a very concise explanation as a kid. I believe my mom said something along the lines of, "It doesn't mean you're different. Well, it means that you're different, but different in a nice, functional way. For the most part, you probably won't get a girlfriend until you're at least 25, but at least you're gonna like it." You'll make a mature decision about it, which has also not been very true.
Your mom sounds special.
What's that?
Your mom sounds special.
Well, Mom is a lovely, special lady, and if you're listening, Mom, I love you. Looking forward to that.
Send more money.
I'm looking forward. Shut it. I was gonna say looking forward to that lamb roast, but but yes, money would be nice.
Yes, Hugo's mom, if you're listening out there, you can either send the money directly to him, or if you really would want to make sure it gets to him specially, check out paypal.me/MVHT show. You can just directly send it there. I will make sure it gets to him in some form or another.
Mother, it's a lie. Do not listen. Yes. No, like if we're going to talk shop for a minute, talk real, it's, no, I think the idea was, it's very, like, you're functional for the most part. You're sometimes even a bit extra functional in a couple ways. Don't make a joke out of that, Þórhallur. But you are the type. I'm just saying. I can tell by looking at him that he's the type that would.
You make one comment, you look over, and he's just like, ooh, he's holding back.
Primed and ready. It's the way it was explained to me as a kid, at least. It was just like you have a different way of seeing the world, I guess. That was like the hokey kind of spiritual. I'm not gonna, I just want to put it out there. I'm not going to give any kind of real explanation. It's been years since I had the talk, but well, you've had her on here, our good friend Kamala.
Yeah.
And I take it you guys spent maybe 3 hours talking about the nature. It's a very it's an important subject for her in particular.
Yeah.
But I honestly, it's I guess just to put it simply, it was the most reasonable form of autism you could ask for. That was the idea, and you could theoretically look perfectly normal to most people. Well,
and I feel like a lot of disorders and syndromes, it's kind of like everyone has the one factor of it that they hear about.
Yeah.
It's not even just the stereotypes. It's just the one thing that's known about it.
Yeah.
So with Asperger, the one that I always heard, the difference was it was more on the lines of social awkwardness. The social aspects of things were tougher.
Well, that's bang on pretty much.
Okay.
That was my weakness for sure. Jesus Christ! As a child, the playground was fun. Neither for me nor anybody around me, for that matter. I was an intense child with a very, very vivid imagination.
But it makes sense though that it's part of the spectrum because I mean that is also a very big factor of autism in general.
Totally. But it's I had a point here. Hang on. My point is somewhere. It's on the floor maybe, but
the ADHD is strong with this one.
Thank you. It's also what all my doctors have said. But, I had a point, but it's I think it's lost now. That's also the ADHD for you.
That's all right. But so were you ever told specifically that you were kind of re-diagnosed to be on the spectrum as opposed to Asperger, or was it just over time with that changing?
Yeah, no,
you just adapted to it.
No, I was never re-diagnosed.
Right.
I don't know anybody that has been.
Well, with how long the process is, you probably don't want to go through it a second time.
Honestly, no. But it sounds like the weird thing is though, when I was diagnosed as a child, like I actually had no clue I was being diagnosed. Like, so I think someone just like, I think they just paid like a doctor to just like look at me through binoculars or whatever and just go like, yep, that's a weirdo right there. You got a weirdo.
I like how you started that sentence.
Bring him over.
I like how you started that sentence like you were narrating a biopic where it was just like, when I was diagnosed as a child, that's where it all really began.
Hi, they paid a man to observe me from afar.
I bet you're wondering how I got into this situation.
and then 24 hours earlier.
The man is arrested. He's like, I'm doing research. They're like, yeah, that's what they all say. Yeah.
As usual, Þórhallur bringing the sinister undertone and the overtone.
But did your perspective of the whole thing change? Whoa, when it was when it became talked about as part of the spectrum instead of its own thing?
Not at all.
Not really?
At all. No, I mean, I just
because it's not like you changed.
Well, I mean, we all change, don't we?
Yeah.
But it's I grew very indifferent to the whole world of like, diagnoses or whatever as I got older. It just kind of stopped mattering. Again, I was diagnosed so early that I had the fortune of being diagnosed super early because it meant I could very quickly identify like what was kind of off about me and work on that in the intervening years. And by the time it was all about the spectrum. It's I was pretty much for the most part, an adjusted adult. So yeah, I had very little reason to care. And honestly, like not to get like political, I guess, psychopolitical, but I don't really know why they reframed the thing. Like I have a vague idea as to why, but I guess it's just to be a bit more inclusive. I don't know.
Do you think it was like like more defined when they were separate?
I think it was.
Okay.
But, I mean, I guess that's just cool now to have it be indefined or undefined. Or
I mean, it's an interesting point though because it's kind of. Because with Tourette syndrome, I mean, there are several tic disorders. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tourette syndrome isn't the only tic disorder. There's Tourette syndrome, there's tic disorder, there's also dystonia. I mean, and they're not all lumped together as Tourette syndrome. They are their own thing. It's not like the Tourette spectrum. Yeah. But with that I mean, that's a very interesting point because with the autism spectrum, I mean, it's like the age-old thing of not every autistic person is the same or has the same factors. But
perhaps like that's exactly why they're doing it this way because we're so varied as a species of human beings.
As a species,
yeah, we're so varied that it's like maybe it's just kind of like they just realized that even like Asperger's just wasn't doing it because like there were so many varieties. So that's why we need a spectrum now. But again, this is a decision made by people who are smarter than me. So I won't be digging into that a bunch.
Well, you're pretty smart. You're pretty smart.
Well, thank you.
I say this as like I adjust myself in my seat and look away like he's pretty smart.
oh dear, I brought a genius on here. What I'm gonna do? I'm not. Audience, I'm not.
But the other thing I wanted to ask though, and I know that this is kind of the hardest one to ask because of the age-old
is it dicey?
Well, it's a joke that our friend Steindor, who's performed in our comedy show,
you're gonna ask me a joke?
No, like he's joked about with like people saying like what's it like being autistic. It's hard to say because they have nothing to compare it to. I mean, I was gonna say for you, like, I mean, have you ever noticed like any specific things that seemed more difficult?
Yes, I mean. If I want to get, again, like I'm going to get super serious about this and really discuss it and think about it.
Well, it's not all laughs and jokes.
Let me just inhale very loudly. Yeah, but no,
all of a sudden you sound like you own a yacht.
I do, actually. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I do.
Like the Freakazoid joke. I'm subscribed to the New Yorker.
I don't understand the bloody thing, but I am. Yeah, no, I think it's really about kind of like your inverse as a person instead of your outverse.
Okay,
is a lot more. You're like in Icelandic it's called einhverfa, right? Because that means essentially like it's inwardish. That's kind of like the meaning of that word. But also, it's like I can see you're grinning at me because you know I have no idea what I'm saying. No, but it's like in terms of the word, I'm a bit off. But it's like theoretically, it's about like you're kind of more in tune with yourself than your surroundings.
Okay,
that's the idea. Yeah. So with that, you have like actually you have a couple strengths. Like you're you know yourself a lot. Like I find it interesting. Like when people say like they need to find themselves or know themselves or whatever, because, and I've honestly come to the small conclusion that is a problem neurotypical people have more than spectrum people. I think that's at least it's more common for people who are not like this in tune with themselves as people, because they're just you're kind of just on this like inward focus for the most part. That's also why you're bad at social cues and things like that, because you're not super empathetic, you're not super involved, you don't really care about a lot of people. You come across as a bit of a psychopath to certain parties, and I think that's the thing that I noticed, especially once I got help from like experts and stuff. Because again, I was very fortunate with that. I got a lot of help, like a lot, and that was mostly because of my parents. They were great people helping me through that. And I love my parents, but honestly, I can't thank the experts enough. I went to, and Carmela probably mentioned this. I went to what's known as Bugl.
What is it?
Bugl.
Bugl. Okay.
And that's a hilarious term because bull translates to bullshit. But but yeah, everybody's made that joke. But it's like it's just a.
It's nog mera buggligt.
Yeah.
That was funny in Icelandic.
Joke for the Icelanders,
yes,
which take up less than 1% of the world's population.
Well, you know what, Dan, I'm on your side here. I hate that fucking. Anyway,
you were not missing out. It was a horrible joke and so on.
Yeah, but it's. I just need to give like the experts their due diligence, because they were great. Without them, I might not be here talking to you and making all these funny jokes and being a guy. So.
Why I like that you say like you use the word inverted instead of introverted, because there is the difference between introverted and extroverted, and
that's a whole other fucking can of worms, right? It's
I did have a joke that I came up with at one point, and it was actually based on because I've noticed a lot of autistic people tend to be more direct about how they speak, or they and it's kind of like there's a bit of like blatant or like brutal honesty because they're not holding back. And so I thought of the fact that like Þórhallur is an introvert, and like I thought of like an extrovert like trying to make friends and being like going out and being like the extrovert goes to the introvert and is just like, hi, I'm looking for friends. And the introvert goes, I'm sure you'll find them.
I can't tell if that's like vaguely adorable or just really sad.
just being like, I don't want anything to do with anyone. I would just want to be by myself.
Yeah, I mean, what you just described, I would say are you an introvert, Dan?
I'm an ambivert, so I go back and forth.
Right. Well, anyway, that story you just told is essentially just me coming up to the two of y'all and being like, hello, I would like friends.
And me being like, all right.
Alex brought me through like the cat door and was like, here, I found this. I was just like, hi.
Well, social anxiety.
As an introvert, like if somebody comes to me like, hey, I want to be a friend. I'm looking for friends. I would say, why?
You have yourself.
Friends are awful. Yeah. God.
But social anxiety.
Why are you talking to me about that?
But social anxiety is a whole thing in its own. I mean, because it is tough. Like, I mean, when you're an ambivert, it's tough because like there's a lot of times where like you'll be around people and you'll want so badly to communicate with people and be a part of the conversation and have them around you. You always want people around you, but at the same time, sometimes you just lock up.
Oh, yeah.
I know, like they'll be around, and that's why there's a lot of times where like I'll be hanging out with people and they'll get the impression that I hate them because I'm not talking much, but it's just that in my head I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
I may have had that feeling about you at first. I'm really sorry.
I have that effect on people.
No, it's just like, yeah, but like, it's fuck that. I've had a taste of that too, though. Like, the teenage years were just that Like seriously, all the way. There was like introverts, pretty much 100%.
Yeah.
What were you guys like in your teen years?
What were we like? I like the interview changes. Now he's just like, let me ask you a question.
30 more minutes. I'll have you on my bench like Freud.
What was I? I was very awkward.
Tell me about your father.
I think I was a lot more closed when I was younger. Like I wasn't as extroverted. I was very, very much afraid of people.
Yeah.
I mean, like I wanted to be around people. I really did, but the social anxiety I think was a lot more intense when I was younger.
Oh yeah. Well, it's you grow up and you get big and you're just like.
I want to say you live and learn, but when you have social anxiety, you kind of just live and keep living.
You survive.
Yeah, you live and survive.
You over there, you can thrive. I'll survive.
But Þórhallur, what were you like as a teenager?
Oh, this will be juicy.
I got chlamydia at 14.
And that's the end of that. Good night, folks.
Good night.
I wish I was joking.
Wait. Oh, fuck. What's that Animaniacs quote? Hang on. Shit. I have it written down. No, it's a simple quote. Like, oh, yeah. It's a good night, everybody.
Yeah, no, I was pretty lost as a teenager and
in Iceland? You don't get lost in Iceland. You just keep walking.
I got lost in the forest of Iceland.
Yeah, you
What forest?
You just have to stand up.
Yeah. For yourself.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got lost, and then like a teddy bear found you or some shit, right? That's
Yeah. They made a short film about that.
That was a great film. I loved the hell out of that. That was a great film.
Thank you.
If you get lost in Iceland, you end up with like a documentary crew like filming you, just standing in like the town square. Mm-hmm. It's just like, this man has claimed that he's been lost for 5 weeks. He has no idea where he is. Sir, do you know where you are? No. You realize you're in the center of downtown. Is that where I've been this whole time?
What's his name? Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls? Yeah.
Yeah. He came to Iceland. He came to Iceland, and he was faking a show. He was like, I'm in the wilderness, and every Icelander was like, you're next to IKEA? What are you doing?
Yeah, because like, well, the thing is, we live, you guys, in what literally was like meant to be Mordor on the fucking like. Yeah, you guys heard like. Well, I mean, it's just a bunch of like. I'm not surprised he fooled people because the whole thing is it's a joke. Like we live in fucking Vardenfell. We live on just the most miserable like ashy plain ever. Well, for the most part.
Well, it's like the age-old jokes about Canada. Like Jim Carrey joked about this in his early stand-up, where people would be like, "Oh, you're from Canada? Wow, must have been cold." And he just like started playing along with it. After a while, he's just like, "Yes, we lived in the igloos. We had to keep together to keep warm." It's just like that's what people feel about Iceland. They hear Iceland and they're just like, it's either "Wow, you must have been cold," or "Hey, isn't it true that Greenland's really ice and Iceland's really green?"
Oh, I hate that fucking worst. Yes, and by dawn we walk our pet penguins to the shore.
We've actually been navigating all the puffins and polar bears for decades.
Yes, this is my pet polar bear.
I call him Chompers.
But I don't know. I honestly don't. Oh yeah, we were talking about Þórhallur as a teenager.
Yeah, let's squeeze some more out of that.
I was just a horrible teenager.
Don't tell me that's the first time that's come up in this show. There's like seedy past. Come on.
Oh, we should
talked about it a couple times.
Yeah, we should get Mom on the podcast and
I tune in for that.
Like all the horror stories from me as a teenager.
What about like isn't your like dad some kind of big shot or something? Like when he also
I've never heard about him.
I've never heard about your dad. Yeah, who is he?
I have no idea.
I'm just imagining Þórhallur's mom on this podcast and me being like, "So what was Þórhallur like as a child?" Well, you've heard his stand up. He's basically that.
Wow.
Well, that's a spot on impression of my mom.
Is it?
Yeah.
Þórhallur, it's time for dinner.
Þórhallur.
Matur búin.
Búin?
She actually She actually called me today, and now we do the FaceTime thing because I actually answer her now on because it's video, not like
right.
Because like I've mentioned before, I hate phone calls. I hate the phone and everything. And she called me on FaceTime, and I was like, you know what, Mom, you're kind of ruining the FaceTime. You call so often. It like you. Now that this is getting annoying, and she was like,
"That's what every mother loves to hear."
Yeah, she said she was like, "Wow, you are the most boring man I've ever met in my life." She was like, why are you doing stand-up? You're so annoying and so boring."
The first mother in history to go, "Son, please stop calling."
No, but she was just like, "You're so and I was laughing my ass off. She was just ripping me a new one, and it was really funny.
But to move on a bit here now, because you are also an artist, you are a filmmaker, but
apparently,
and to kind of get to why the title of this episode is "You Can Call Me Hugo." So you're changing your name to Hugo as more of a stage name.
Yes, in fact, I am.
And why is that?
Well, Hugo is not actually like the centerpiece of the stage part of the stage name. It's actually I guess the easiest way to explain the whole thing is that I am obsessed with the States, Dan.
Okay.
And you'll probably look at me and go like, what the fuck? What's the matter with you?
No, I understand. There's some things about it.
I mean, I imagine a few people would tune in here and be like, oh, nice. He's got another American sitting by and just having a good old chat. But no, I'm actually from here, you guys.
Well, to be fair. To be fair, unless I got someone like Johannes Ingi, who only the Icelanders, like 5 Icelanders will know. No, like unless I get him, all the Icelanders are going to have American accents. Because
I don't know why I'm bragging. Yeah,
it's like everybody, because Icelanders don't normally talk like this very much anymore.
Not anymore, no.
Most of the Icelanders that live in Reykjavik, like they're all copying basically Netflix. I mean, they're copying the American accent because most Icelanders don't even like the Icelandic accent.
I'm copying all the PlayStation 2 games I played as a kid.
Yeah, like for generations now, most of us have grown up watching American television. You know, all the shows,
and that goes back a while. That goes back to like the fucking army camp we had here since World War II. It's like that's where it started, but it's gotten.
So it's like people over 60, 70, they have that accent.
My dad has that. My mom
and Johannes Ingi.
And Johannes Ingi. Yeah.
Bless his soul. But so I
he's not dead, by the way.
Rest in peace.
I mean, he is very, very tall. So sometimes you aren't quite sure because you can't see his face. He's so tall. So sometimes you're not sure if he's alive or dead. You alive up there? I'm not sure.
Emotionally, maybe.
I am dead inside.
Yeah. Anyways, where was I? Fuck.
So you're obsessed with America?
I like America, Dan. For the most part, you guys are like, you're pretty backwards, but I like. I don't know. There's a charm about this. I mean, there just is. Like, we can't really deny that as much as we want to get annoyed at the politics or whatever. It's just like there's a history there, land of opportunity and whatnot, and it's huge. I like the sun, I guess.
It's huge.
Huge. Let's not. But I guess the main thing is, my greatest passion in life, I like to think, is probably animation.
Okay.
And them's just the facts. There is no greater place, for animation than America. Like, come on, it's the place where it became an industry.
Right.
It's Walt Disney, it's DreamWorks, it's all this crap, and you just don't have that anywhere in Europe. Like, yeah, sure, you have it. It's its own thing in Asia, like Japan and all that. But I'm not particularly interested in. I like the Western stuff. I like the old 2D stuff. I'm not big on 3D. But how does this relate to me being called Hugo? You ask. Well, I was named Hugo Terrestrial. Terrestrial is, that's my dad, and Hugo is my grandfather, and it means directly translates to hawk, or someone with the features of a hawk. In which case, that is why I have this ginormous beak on my face, Dan. But so I kind of wanted to honor my grandfather because I've never really. I mean, it's not a name I chose,
right?
But, and me and my grandpa didn't really know each other for very long. He passed away in 2013, I believe. And but he was a cool guy, and I respected him. I liked him a lot. And that was his name. And I don't know. I felt like if I'm gonna change the name, at least in some way, I would have to honor it. And he was, in fact, every time he went to the States, funnily enough, called Hugo.
Really?
Because no one could say Hugo. And I just thought, wow, that's like, I mean, I don't want to go around like being called Hawk because that's just a bit. I did that for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I actually did. Yeah, my American ex called me. Yeah, I had him call me Hawk, but it's Hugo is just, I don't know. I like it. My grandpa got called. Yeah, thank you. But here's the kicker though, and this is the stage part of the stage name. You see?
Okay.
Because I want a last name.
Right.
I would love a family-ish kind of name. And I think I'm going to be known as, given the choice, Hugo Terrestrial.
Hugo Terrestrial. I like it. It's a great name.
Thank you.
I'm glad you didn't say boss.
Well, then I would have just had to kill myself, Dan.
But I like what you were talking about. How no one could pronounce Heiker because when Þórhallur and I a couple years ago we went to LA together, and while we were in LA, I mean, just hearing people trying to say Þórhallur.
That's beautiful.
It was.
Did you film it?
No, but we did try to constantly teach people, and then eventually they were he was like, yeah, but you can call me Thor, and they're just like, oh, Thor. Now that's a name I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're kind of like a chubby looking Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, it works. Oh man, back to why America is like the worst though. Like just like going to just go as a member of any other culture, going there must be hard. Which is why I'm preparing to just be like American it up and just be like, hey, hello y'all. It's I want to use. That's going to be me.
To be fair,
let's go square dancing.
To be fair, I understand and I don't understand why Icelanders change their name for Americans. Because for example, I get it. To pronounce it to pronounce it 100% accurately is tough for someone who at least doesn't understand Icelandic, but I mean, to at least get it to where you understand what you're saying, to say hiker, I mean, is at least, I mean, anyone can say hiker.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
I guess.
And the same with Þórhallur. I mean, it there are ways that you it's Americanized, but at the same time you're saying the name. So I've always found it weird that Icelanders tend to stray away from. I mean, I guess it's probably when you get so used to everyone just constantly going, how do I pronounce your name? How do I pronounce your name? Eventually you go, you know what? Just call me Thor. No, I guess I get that.
I feel really bad for the accented people. If you're British or whatever, you go to the States and some freaking dippy valley girl comes up to you and she just goes, "Oh my God, you're British? Say banana." And it's just that's your life from now on.
Oh, that's
it's really sad.
Just when English people are born and their parents are just like, "So son, when you're older," I'm not even going to attempt to do an English accent. I suck.
Oh, you want me to do it?
But it's just when you're older, you're going to spend the rest of your life saying the word banana for people who are dumb.
Oh man, that's terrible. It's horrible. But shit, we ramble.
So Hugo Terrestrial.
Hugo Terrestrial, that's the name I've chosen, and it's I suppose it would be my legal name as well as kind of an artist name.
Yeah.
And I just, that's kind of the gist of it, really. But as to addressing, though, what you said back about changing it for Americans, I don't know if that's accurate. It's more Hugo is a very international name.
It is.
It is. Yeah. In fact, I may even have gotten the story a bit wrong. I think Grandpa went all over the place. That man, he might have been in Germany or something when someone decided to call him Hugo. But it did stick though. I think he used it a bit after that. He would just ask people to call him that, and I just always found that a really cute story. So I think it's the right way to honor him.
Yeah.
And as for the rest of it, it's a sad state of affairs, but English is just kind of the international language. It kind of is. Like, for the most people speak English. And
well, to be fair, I mean, because this is just kind of a harsh truth.
Yeah.
That is like I've noticed, like, I mean, there are a lot of Icelanders that like write music in Icelandic, which I respect and I get it. And like, of course, you're in Iceland, write music that's in English, or I mean, in Icelandic.
And a lot of people like it. You know, a lot of people just love listening to gibberish they don't understand.
But the thing is, if you want to go international, you cannot write stuff in Icelandic because no one will understand it. I mean, you'll basically be limiting yourself to a world population of maybe 500,000.
Exactly.
Whereas if you and there are bands like Mammut, for example, has written music in Icelandic and then translated it to English and re-recorded it, which in my opinion is very smart because now they can go international.
Yeah. I think that's probably the way to go about it. Like,
or just make your own language like Sigurós.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow. Oh, you deserved a bigger laugh for that. I'm so sorry. This is why you get paid the big bucks, my friend.
But you said right the thing that you're most interested in is animation. That's what you like that's like the big thing that you want to go into. What is it about animation specifically?
Oh, dude, what's there to say? Like, fucking just it's someone I admire said that it is like literally like it is like the magic art form. It's just people don't realize like you couldn't do fucking anything with anime. Like it's you just pull whatever the hell is in your head and just you make it real. Like, I mean, how the hell is like the whole population, the world's population, not excited by that? How are people not like still just blown away by the mere like thought of it? It's insane.
Ultimate imaginatory outlet, because literally, I mean, you can animate. I mean, it's because animation is basically, if you can think it, you can animate it.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, I think it's just down to the fact that we're all boring as hell. we're just so satisfied with our actors and our action movies and our dramas and our, you know, it's just, it speaks to a complete lack of imagination from people that animation does not get the credit it deserves. It's at least that's my take. Sorry if it's a hot one, but that's my take.
Well, we've talked. I mean, we personally talked a lot about animation because we're both huge fans of animation. And
me and you mean? Just
off
and the cuff.
Voice acting is one of the things that I'm most interested in. I mean, I very often thought that I have the perfect squeaky voice for animation for voice acting, but no, but like, I mean, what that is one of the beautiful things about animation, though, is it's not just the animation itself; it's that there's a whole world of change with the voice.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a voice actor, James Arnold Taylor, who's one of my absolute favorites. But he said it.
Have I told you like like that guy was my childhood, my friend.
Yeah,
I love him.
But he's got a great podcast. He had a video where he was talking about the fact that, like, I mean, if you think about it, every voice is connected in some way or another. I mean, you can go and he had this video. It was so incredible that he would basically start at one celebrity impression, and then by the time he was done, it was a completely different voice. But you hear the clear change of just dropping the tone of the voice, or adding a little bit of rasp to the tone, or adding a little bit of a different inflection to the voice. I mean, there's so much that a voice actor can do just to portray a character. And I think that's why, like, when you get so into this world, I mean, it's like you almost get upset when you hear certain people not even trying to change their voice to match the character, because you're just like, well, that's not the character, you know? Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say, Dan, that it was a spectrum of voices.
Aha!
Oh!
The whole thing is just circling back to the beginning of this.
Yeah. It's I love Arnold, man. He's James Arnold Taylor. He's a fucking great guy, and
I mean the range on that guy.
Beautiful human being as well. Like, he has a not to plug another person's podcast in the middle of a podcast, but he's got just the way he like treats like fans and stuff. He's just a fucking just beautiful human being.
Yeah,
really is. And that is such a nice thing. You mentioned that because, like, again, it plays into this whole just be anything kind of philosophy that is animation, because the acting part of it is you're just completely removed from your own body. Like it's all just voice, and it's all inflection and like just the way you use it and change it and mold it. It speaks to this whole like fluid flexibility of the whole art form, and just the things that go into animation as an art form. It's mind blowing, and you're like it's just the lack of appreciation, man.
Well, and I think one of my favorite aspects of voice acting is the fact that, like, I mean, I forget who exactly said this, but they were thought there was a voice actor who was talking about the fact that, I mean, everyone assumes that because it's just in a studio and they're not on camera, that you're just acting with your voice. But there's more to it. I mean, if like there's a lot like Jim Hanks, who has done a lot of voice acting. He was also basically he did the voice of Woody from Toy Story when Tom Hanks wasn't available.
Yeah.
But like he was talking about how to do Woody in the Toy Story games. He would put his thumb in his belt loop because it made him feel more like a cowboy. And I mean, there are a lot of voice actors that actually physically act out their characters, because they're like, just because you only hear their voice doesn't mean they're not actually acting as well. And that's one of those things that's commonly misunderstood about voice acting, is that there's a whole level of acting that goes on. You might as well have a camera looking at them, because they're doing all the facial acting. They're doing all a lot of body movements. They're not just standing there speaking into a microphone.
Mark Hamill, when he does the Joker, dude, that is a terrifying thing to behold. He's scrunching his face and he's going like this, and he's like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And voice acting here in Iceland, it has actually been around for quite a while. Þórhallur, your dad was, and still is, a big part of the voice acting world here.
Yeah, that's kind of his expertise. Has been his status job. That's been his one of the only steady jobs because he's an actor and everything. He does the voiceovers here in Iceland. We don't do a lot of our own cartoons, so he has to voice over another, something that comes from Disney or and it basically here in Iceland, if it's the funny sidekick, that's my dad. He's the genie in Aladdin. He is
Mushu in Mulan. He's I was gonna say he's Sid from Ice Age, but I don't think that's him. I think that's somebody else.
Yeah, I don't remember. He's like Donkey in Shrek, and just name. He's the funny sidekick. That's I gotta say the cool story. If we're talking about my dad and Disney, I got the most cool story. Yeah,
tell the cool story.
Because here in Iceland, when they do the voiceover and everything, they have to hire somebody for the part, and they have to send the audition to Disney, and Disney has to approve. Mm-hmm. So even though Disney doesn't understand what they're saying, they have to approve the voice. They have to prove they got it, And like here in Iceland, there are not many actors maybe available for this kind of job. So like I said, every funny sidekick, that's my dad. So sometimes people are like, who might that be? Who's going to be the voice for that? Might it be Latte? Oh, so surprised. So they were trying some other actors, and they were sending the auditions out to Disney, and Disney was like, nope. And it ended up like Disney themselves, they sent back to Iceland. They said, why don't you try this Latte guy?
Really?
Yeah. So like Disney already knew. They always approve him. They're like, what are you trying? Just bring Latte. He knows how to do it. We approve. And that was for, I think that was for the genie in Aladdin.
Oh, cool.
And actually Disney used the Icelandic voice over the whole thing for Aladdin. They used that as an example to that's how you do it.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it was that well done that when other countries were like, they was like, okay, see how Iceland did the Aladdin thing? This is how you do it. This is how you're supposed to do it.
Well, he was a fucking fantastic genie. Like, Latti was an amazing genie. Like, I sometimes
it's really, really, really good. Really good.
Just like the way he did, like, it was totally his own thing. Like, I would say he had way more of like and I say this like very carefully, but he had
there are Americans listening.
I know.
Be careful. Be careful.
I don't have to state how much I love Robin Williams. Like, no one has to say that out loud. But it's just, he had a very different flair that honestly, like, really stood out apart from Robin Williams when he did the genie.
Yeah, I mean, it was like he did it really his own thing. It was like his own, made it his own.
Yeah, I would honestly say that it was worlds apart, kind of like spicier in a way, almost.
By the way,
my dad is better than no.
Real quick, Þórhallur, have you ever thought about the fact that like your dad always played like the funny sidekick, and the way that people in Iceland know you, aren't you technically the funny sidekick?
Oh yeah.
Because he's the funny sidekick of the funny sidekick.
Yeah, he's the funny sidekick of the funny sidekick.
Bingo.
It's kind of funny that like in Lion King, the Timon and Pumbaa.
Timon and Pumbaa, yeah.
Timon and Pumbaa. I was like, that's the name in English as well, right? My dad was Timon. Mm-hmm. And my friend's dad was Pumbaa. So right. Karl August was Pumbaa.
Oh, what?
And me and Eyvindur, the son of Timon and Pumbaa, we kind of look like Timon and Pumbaa.
Oh, wow.
So he's kind of, round and hairy, and I'm kind of like short and weird.
Well, pipsqueak.
Short and weird. Yeah. Have you guys ever done like just for fun, like a sketch of the two of you as Timon and Pumbaa?
We need to do that. Actually, that would be hilarious.
Just read lines from the movie. Just try your damnedest to do the voices.
Well, before we get too close to the end here, because we're actually getting close. I did want to talk to you, and we're gonna have to do a part 2 because there are a ton of things that we're not gonna have time to talk about.
I'm joy. I'm down for that.
But I wanted to actually talk about the movie that you did last year.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I did one of those.
It was not animated.
It was not.
But you starred in it.
Because I'm not on the level where I can, just a little like insider knowledge here, folks. I've not actually animated anything. I do a lot of drawing.
Not yet.
I do a lot of drawing, but I have not made any of them move or dance.
But can you tell us a bit about the movie?
So the movie was actually vaguely inspired by, if anyone makes a short film in Iceland, it's probably about either drugs, violence, or mental illness. And I settled on mental illness since I know that to some extent.
Right.
And I may have taken, I took it a bit further than autism. It was about a character who's got some kind of, he has some sort of unspecified, what's the word? He's got, I'm actually blanking on an English word for once. Instead of I will fuck up like words from my own tongue, but I'll usually skate just fine on English. Þórhallur.
Just say it in Icelandic.
Schizophrenia. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Easy. Fuck. Jesus. And so schizophrenia. He's got a version of that I didn't really. I didn't feel the need to specify like exactly what kind or because let's be honest, I'm not qualified to actually get into that. I thought I had enough license to at least tell a story involving it.
But it's part of the schizophrenia spectrum.
Yes, the spectrum. Yes, we're back to that. But weirdly enough, it ended up having also drugs and also violence in it. But which I will, it's a mistake I will not repeat. That the violent drug scene was really tacked on with hindsight. But I liked it. It was a good movie. I did it we're going back to we're circling back to a thing here because I put this thing up for a contest.
Right.
And that was literally my only reason for making it.
That was the only reason.
That was the only reason, because there was a contest and I wanted to win. I wanted to win that contest because the prize was a week's worth of studying cinematography in
nice.
LA.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
That was the prize, the golden ticket. It was just a free week in LA or New York. I might have gone for either, to study either cinematography or acting.
And were you Charlie, and did you get to go to the chocolate factory?
I was not. It was close. It was real close. There was one movie that beat us out, and they got 2 awards. I got 2 awards. That's
but you did win 2 awards.
I won 2 awards. I won Public Opinion, which felt pretty good. But there were 2 Public Opinion awards somehow, so they also won that.
2 publics.
Bastards. Anyways,
2 publics, 2 opinions.
Yeah. No, actually, that's literally how it went down, because there were 2 separate days in which we would see these movies. And,
right.
And I won that, but I also won I won an award for best acting.
Yes.
Whoa.
I'm very smug about.
It was very, very well done.
Oh, thank you.
I must say I didn't understand all of it, but it
felt so bad. I wanted to subtitle it for you.
No, but it was very, very well done. I mean, what I loved about that movie is it is one of those movies where you don't really have to understand what's being said to understand what's going on, and I think that was. Like that's one of the hardest things to do in film for me, like my opinion, not literally for me personally to do, is to portray it so that if you had the volume off, you still understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But it was also the sound, the music choices that you had, all of that together.
Yeah.
Like made it very, very clear as to what was going on.
And I have to give full credit to a man I think both of you know, who is one of my absolute best friends. Who is called Mimmi Guðmundur Johansson, an absolute fucking prodigy of a man. He pretty much did everything. I acted, wrote the script, sure. He directed, he cut it, he audio did everything. It's his music. He did everything. Like the guy is just a fucking like. You need to get him on here.
Yeah, well, he did do work for us as well. He did a couple promo videos for us.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome. He's a clever boy.
He's a very clever boy, the cleverest boy.
Honestly, if anyone listening out there is looking for a director and a filmmaker or someone to do sound or anything, the combination of Hugo and I'm so used to it. Hugo and Mimmi, you will not fail.
Oh, thank you. Oh, fuck. Actually, he's got a Spotify handle. That guy. He's about to drop an album, and his stage name is Odd Weird.
Odd Weird, yes.
Yes, because he is in fact odd and weird. Those are synonyms, but
we like that.
We like that. We like synonyms here. Yeah. So, just tons of props to him, my best buddy, and. The movie was, it's weird because I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I just saw something, I wanted it, so I made a movie. It's a weird situation, but it definitely the best thing about it is I just kind of realized like, holy shit, like if I like really want that carrot, fuck, you go nuts. You kind of just lose track of time, and all of a sudden you got a fucking short film just under your belt.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of, the way that you say it, it's kind of like the story. This is going to sound insulting, but it's not.
Oh dear.
It's kind of like the story of how Tommy Wiseau made The Room.
Oh, wow.
Because like he basically went to see a movie with Greg Sestero, who played Mark, and they, like after seeing it, he basically said to Greg, he was just like, I can do that. I can make a movie. And then they basically just made The Room based on the fact that he was like, I can do it. And it was like with you were basically just like, I want to win. I'm going to make a movie. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Oh, hi, Dan.
Yeah. Except yours was actually filmed well.
Thank you.
Instead of having like 2 different types of cameras, duct taped to an apparatus so that you can film side by side in both formats because you're not sure which one's going to be the future.
Yeah. Holy hell, though. That just brings me to a quote that I heard by a guy who just I really like. And it went something along the lines of just like very simple like phrase, just if you see something and like good old Tommy Wiseau, if you see someone do a thing and you just think you get this like thought in your mind, like I could do that better. You often can.
Well, actually,
you often can. Like sometimes
it is true. It is true.
Upon occasion, your awful, horrible, smelly ego has got a point.
Well, to be fair, though, it is also worth pointing out that a lot of times when people think that something seems so easy that they can do it,
well, yeah, that's
it's not necessarily as easy as they think.
No, but it's like when you, I don't know, when you think that with a level of clarity.
Yeah.
When you think that with some sort of understanding, or at least the willingness to learn. If you're just going to bullshit your way through it, then it's pay no mind. It's like that's just the wrong way to go about it. But if you if you're thinking like I can learn this and do it probably better than the people doing it right now, that's the fucking that's the sweet spot. That's the mindset to have.
Exactly. Well, unfortunately, we are getting down to the end here. But I am definitely going to have you back because I've got so much more I want to talk to you about. But first of all, I'd like to thank you, Hugo, for joining us on the podcast.
Well, thank you, Dan, for having me.
And thank you to Þórhallur for being a co-host from a far away land.
Thank you for being sick. That means I got the big mic and I feel like a big shot.
Yes. And before we go, where can people find out more information about you?
Well, they can't, Dan.
They can't.
I am off the grid. No, shit. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm working on a couple of things. I'm working on establishing some kind of presence, and I guess it's I'm gonna be on a couple of like I'm getting an Instagram, a Twitter, that kind of crap. If I'm gonna be like next year I'll be famous.
I mean, if you're gonna be a big shot, you need to get on the big shot promotional pages.
Yeah, well done. No, it's yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess Twitter's the way to go. I don't know what the fuck I tweet about. I tweet my weird sketches of weird characters. But maybe we'll, maybe we'll save that for part 2. Maybe then I'll have something to plug.
All right. And to the listeners out there, first of all, thank you for listening. If you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss on the podcast, send them over to us at info@mvhtshow.com. That's info@mvhtshow.com. And
do you want to go get a pizza, by the way, since you're hungry? Because I could really go for some.
I like pizza.
I'm just doing the outro, and you guys are going to order a pizza.
Pizza likes you, Þórhallur. So let's. I just made a fat joke without realizing it.
Should I just do this while they're ordering pizza? To those of you, also if you want to find out more information about the show, check out our Facebook or Instagram at My Voice Have Tourette's. We also have a Twitter at MVHT Show.
They do this olive oil kind of like you also feng shui thing. So,
if you want to support us, you can check out our PayPal, paypal.me/MVHT show.
Do you like olives on yours? Or
this episode has been brought to you by Gamesless Studio, where we're recording The Secret Cellar, Iceland's first and only comedy club.
An anchovy is like...
Smarties volcano sauce is the greatest hot sauce I've ever had in my life. Actually, the hot sauces go great with the pizza that they're trying to order.
You actually are like a fat man, aren't you?
If you're listening to us on Spotify
are you a quattro formaggio kind of guy?
Feel free to like and follow.
And will you get the jam?
Or subscribe.
Are you gonna get the jam?
If you like the podcast, give us a 5-star review. If you didn't, leave us a 1-star review and tell us what you didn't like about it.
Being rude. We're ordering pizza. Fuck's sake.
Feel free to leave us a 1-star review and let us know what you didn't like about it, so we can work on that and make it great for everyone.
All right, the deli it is. We're getting deli.
Other than that, I think I got through everything, regardless of them interrupting. But thank you so much for listening, and check out new episodes every Tuesday.